Well, it's another day and another round of showery rains. Actually, in some places, the rain was pretty heavy today, and we've got a little bit more work to do before we can see some improvement, and that may not come until later in the weekend. In the meantime, severe weather up in parts of the Dakotas, and we've got hot weather with red flag warnings in Texas and in the Southwest, and it could be a big severe weather day tomorrow in the upper Midwest. Well, we're big every day here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which you can support if you'd like. Maybe if you don't like, okay? Do something that you don't really aren't comfortable with. Uh, Shop on Amazon and use our referral link to do it. It's pinned to the top of the chat board. It's also on the descriptor of this podcast. And if you do, Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there, and it doesn't cost you a cent, and it keeps the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast commercial free, at least when we do it live. After that, I have no control. So, anyway, we had a better day today. Uh, Not much in the way of rain. I was able to get a fair amount of yard work done as my landscaping continues. And then I had to go to get a new phone because my current phone was 4.5 years old and the battery was not working correctly. It was starting to just like couldn't hold a charge. So I sat in Verizon for 3 hours. 3 hours. God. But finally got done. Got back home at 3:30, did some more yard work. So needless to say, I'm pretty exhausted. Meanwhile, I noticed this morning there was a big wall of rain that came up. And it wasn't exactly moving very quickly. And next thing I looked at the radar late this afternoon, I saw a few flash flood warnings that were up in parts of New Jersey.
Well, we picked up today so far approximately 4/10 of an inch of rainfall, and it's been coming in varying intensities, and everything from a misty drizzle or sprinkles to maybe a steadier light rain. Nothing that we couldn't handle. Right now, there's not much of anything going on outside my door here in Putnam County. I do notice, Joe, that there are some very significant, rather hefty-looking thunderstorms and showers across portions of northern and eastern Virginia and down across portions of east central North Carolina. But they seem to be rotating around the upper low, which apparently is centered to somewhere over the western part of Virginia, West Virginia area. And it does not look like any of that is going to be coming our way in the immediate future. At least when I say our way, I say the immediate New York City metropolitan area. There was one flash indicating maybe some lightning over northeastern Pennsylvania near the northwestern corner of New Jersey, but that was just one out of many hours worth of non convective activity. Now, we were talking about the last couple of days whether or not we might see convection here in the form of thunderstorms, in the foreseeable future. And it looks like we're going to be turning just humid enough for me to at least include it in the forecast for tomorrow afternoon, and even more so when we get to Friday. Friday looks like a kind of a muggyish day out here with the chance, especially if we break out into some hazy sun in the afternoon, of seeing showers and maybe even a few thunder showers or thunderstorms coming our way as we finish out the week. Don't put away the umbrella, however. Sadly, I think we're going to be seeing more in the way of showery and thundery conditions on Saturday. And really, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting out of this wet weather pattern, at least in this forecaster's opinion, until Sunday into
Right.
the early part of next week.
Yeah, meanwhile, I had showery rains. It got a little, like I said, there was not much here today and should be less so. Although there's some stuff on the radar that might get here around 9 or 10 o'clock. But after that goes by, I'm hoping that tomorrow is mostly a dry day so I can get a little bit more work done. And looking ahead to the first 90-degree day, at least for Atlanta, Now, if Atlanta goes to 90, I probably will only go to about 82, 83, which I've already done this spring. So it's not exactly breaking news, but uh, I just wanted at least, we've had rain here like 5 or 6 days in a row, and the big problem for me is, of course, the fact that what we have. I was talking about it yesterday. Right? We have clay soil here, and when it gets wet, it is like, I saw Renata posted this yesterday, the analogy of it being, it's like grease. It really is. And you just go flying. I mean, if you take a bad step, you go flying. So thankfully, it was dry enough today that I didn't have that problem. I was looking long range. At least if you want to believe the European, the Memorial Day holiday weekend does not, at this early stage anyway, uh, the European painted a rather gloomy, doomy picture for much of the weekend. And that could change, but it was not encouraging.
Well, as I said yesterday, and thank you very much to Scott Briller. Scott had sent me something from the New York Post concerning that atrociously cool and damp Memorial Day we had several years ago. Um, it seems like of all the holidays, or at least the summer holidays, the one with bad luck surrounding it seems to be Memorial Day. It doesn't seem like we get too many Memorial Day weekends that have lots of dry, sunny conditions. And from what you're alluding to, Joe, we may very well have yet another one of those dreary Memorial Day periods coming up.
Folks on the chat board are commenting about the fact that I look different without my glasses on. Problem is, I would prefer to do the show without my glasses on, but I can't see. So, oh, there you are. All right. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board and those of you watching in the background. This is the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, and we are here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m., with Fridays and Saturdays usually being off days for us unless there's some sort of storm around. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And if you like the show, by all means, hit the like button. And I've just got the watches and warnings map up. There's still some flash flood warnings and watches up in Virginia. The warnings are in a few counties in southeast Virginia. The watches are from the northern half of the state, going into West Virginia and a handful of counties in southwest PA. In the meantime, we have one severe thunderstorm watch box up in western Nebraska and into South Dakota. They've got also wind advisories and high wind warnings up. And in South Texas, and I have San Angelo's temperature right now is 92 degrees. Yesterday it was 101 when we did the show. But you see the red flag warnings that are up for the interior part of the southern portion of Texas, as well as much of New Mexico and into southeast Arizona. One county in Montana, south central Montana, is under a winter storm warning, and one county in northwest Wyoming is under a winter weather advisory. And we still have a few of those going on. And here's the satellite loop. And there, Joe, you can see that the lightning strikes are quite a few lightning strikes in eastern Virginia and eastern North Carolina. But you're right, that's all moving eastward and not lifting northward. And you can see there's like this arm that is pushed up into upstate New York and into southeastern Canada. So the upper low, at least finally starting to make some progress moving eastward. But we still have uh, issues to deal with behind it because there's a strong storm forming in the Rockies and heading for the western Dakotas, and then eventually that moves to the Great Lakes tomorrow, and that's going to be the mechanism for severe weather tonight in the Dakotas and in Nebraska. Tomorrow, it's Wisconsin in particular, where the Storm Prediction Center is showing an enhanced risk of severe weather, which we'll get to in a moment. And then you can see across the south, was a bit of a better day for the most part, but we still have little ripples moving along in the flow that we're going to have to contend with.
As I mentioned last night, on the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 day outlook. Unfortunately, it looks like the chances for percent or the probability of precipitation is going to go. Now, it's not going to be tremendously high. They have us in the situation where it's in the lightest shade of percent chance, 33 to 40%, but still, it means that, like the proverbial sword of Damocles, if you will, the chances for some kind of precipitation event, a passing shower or two, maybe some spotty drizzle, a thunder shower, something like that, hangs over us probably right on through the 28th of May. Again, at least according to Climate Prediction Center. And on top of that, we're also looking at, according to CPC, a spell of below normal temperatures, below normal across the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and into the mid-Atlantic and Northeast, not only for the 6 to 10 day, but the 8 to 14 day outlook. So,
They finally came around, didn't they?
yes, they finally did. They actually had at one point, they had us above normal temperature wise, but they quickly changed after they watched,
After
you
they
know,
watch, no question, Joe. We know they
yeah,
lurk in the background. They
yeah,
what do they do, especially these days. But I won't go down that particular road. Here's the radar tonight. There's still some rain in the looks like north of Route 84 and moving up through the Catskills and up the Middle Hudson Valley, also in parts of southern Connecticut. There's a little green box southwest of Staten Island, which is what is left of a flash flood warning. Meanwhile, head down to Virginia and North Carolina. You've got multiple flash flood warnings up in that area in southeast Virginia, where some places it's pouring rain, and there's even a severe thunderstorm warning that's at work in southeast Virginia, not too far from Norfolk. And then in eastern North Carolina, the same story goes there. As that whole complex moves to the east, we've got some clusters of showers and storms in western PA and through Ohio. In Alabama, we've got some showers there. They haven't really, revved up in intensity at this point. And meanwhile, take a look at this not too shabby looking line from south central North Dakota all the way down into Nebraska. And it's the southern end of that line where we've got a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. And also in northeastern Colorado and in western Nebraska, seeing another complex there of showers and storms moving eastward. Gets a little more scattered as you go through parts of Montana and Wyoming and into Idaho. Most of the west is on the quiet side. The Storm Prediction Center tonight, a slight risk in that area in the Dakotas, a marginal risk fingering through the Ohio Valley, and then from Maryland down to North Carolina. But we're dealing with that for the most part now. And I think we might have a new severe thunderstorm watch. Let me just take a look here. Yes, so there's two severe thunderstorm watches. One that covers northeastern Colorado, western Nebraska, and then the second one that was up earlier that pushes up into South Dakota. Now, tomorrow, enhanced risk in just about all of Wisconsin, northeast Illinois, including Chicago, northern Indiana, and western Michigan. The slight risk goes further east across almost all of Ohio and southward into Kentucky and southeast Missouri. And that comes now. I was expecting this. That SPC has now added a 10% tornado risk area in cutting in through the middle, cutting Wisconsin virtually in half from northwest to southeast. And also, as far as wind is concerned, we're looking at a 30% chance of wind gusts in excess of 50 knots, and hail, a 30% chance of, I think, 2-inch diameter hail. Let me see. I can't get the thing to come up. There's the wind. Now the hail thing. There it goes. 1-inch diameter hail or larger. The hatched area, the probability of 2-inch diameter. That's a lot of geography there where they have at least a 10% chance of 2-inch diameter hail. And on day 3, it gets busy again as the Storm Prediction Center also already has an enhanced risk across southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, northern Kentucky. The slight risk extends into Ohio on one end and on the other end into eastern Oklahoma. And a marginal risk, so this is Friday into Saturday morning, the marginal risk, the northern flank touches New York City through northern New Jersey and northern Pennsylvania. The southern flank, southern Delmarva across southern Virginia into eastern Tennessee and touching northwest Georgia and northwestern Alabama and Mississippi. So SPC is indicating, Joe, that there could be some isolated severe thunderstorms Friday into Saturday morning. Now, I wonder, it's too early to know what they're going to do with Saturday. That'll come up tomorrow. But I imagine they're going to have a marginal, at least a marginal risk for Saturday morning into the afternoon with that cold front.
If it's that close to being into the marginal zone on Friday, you know that on Saturday they are going to have to probably put us at least in marginal. And who knows, as time wears on and as the situation develops, they may even, for a part of the tri state area for Saturday, place a part of the area in a slight chance of severe. We'll see. But, Joe, I should also point out, and you were talking about this just a short while ago, about the period for the Memorial Day holiday weekend. And the Climate Prediction Center has the entire tri state area in a slight risk for excessive rainfall
Well,
or
wait,
heavy
why don't we show that map then?
Right. Well, if you want to give me the sharing,
I gave you the share.
you did.
I did.
Oh,
That's
that's
because I'm a
lovely.
generous bloke.
Okay. Because when I saw it, I didn't have sharing capabilities, but now that I have sharing capabilities, I will indeed share. As I was about to say, because of this situation that Joe was talking about before, about a storm that potentially will be passing into our area right about the same time as the darn it, why am I not getting this? Oh, okay, there you go. Sorry about that, folks. I'm getting a little crazy here trying to do this. Yeah, so here's the risk of heavy precipitation, as Joe mentioned, right around the time of the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Some sort of a significant storm system is expected to track through the Ohio Valley and into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, bringing a widespread area of possible significant, or if not heavy, precipitation. And the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center, agrees with Joe Chiappe. They are putting that area, and I'll just blow it up for you. Here it is.
I'm always there to be generous with my, with my predictions.
Slight risk for possible heavy precipitation from May 22nd. Now, May 22nd is a week from tomorrow. So Thursday, May 22nd through the 25th. That would be Sunday, the 25th. Sunday, the 25th of May is right smack in the middle of the Memorial Day holiday weekend. So this entire area, which includes central and southern New England, down across much of southeastern New York and a small section of south central New York, all of eastern and central Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, much of Maryland, northern sections of Virginia. This whole area is in line potentially for some heavy precip, the risk for heavy precip. This map is valid from the 22nd through the 28th, but they're specifically headlining or highlighting the 22nd through the 25th for our section of the nation. So, again, if you're making long-range plans for some sort of outdoor activity for the Memorial Day holiday weekend, well, maybe you can hold off until Memorial Day itself, the 26th, or maybe thereafter. I don't know, thereafter the holiday is over. But it looks like right now that there is a strong suggestion there may be some unsettled conditions to deal with during at least a part, if not much, of the upcoming first holiday weekend of summer, the unofficial start of the summer season.
Well, I got the European upper air, the 500 millibar. So why don't we take a look at what's happening here? And of course, just to start it off with, just to give you perspective, this is Thursday morning. There's what's left of the trough, and up. It's actually the upper low part is gone. It's just basically an open trough, and then you've got more troughing out in the west, and that short wave that's through the Dakotas. That's going to be the engine for severe weather tomorrow as it cuts off and moves into Minnesota. So the area where the strongest jet is, which is coming around through Iowa and Wisconsin, particularly into Wisconsin, that's where we're going to see uh, probably the roughest late weather with this. Meanwhile, we're still, we're sort of flattening the flow a little bit along the East Coast, but not enough to clean it out. And then that whole trough comes eastward with the upper low and moves into eastern Canada. So that's going to bring it's going to bring an upper trough through here Friday and then the cold front on Saturday. And that upper low is going to linger around in New England right through Sunday and Monday. So that's going to bring down cooler air. We showed you the anomalies yesterday, and I'll show them again. Meanwhile, there's a system that's coming down the Pacific Northwest from Alaska and heading into the southwest U.S., and you see it there. So now we're into Tuesday, and that upper low opens up and just kind of rolls eastward. Meanwhile, you got the old upper low in New England drops down to 40 and 60, and another trough in southeastern southeastern Canada is coming around as that system gets ejected from the southwest, and then that just rolls along and cuts off again in the east. There's a pretty deep cutoff there. Come next Friday and Saturday, sitting, I guess somewhere maybe in Pennsylvania or Maryland, eastern Pennsylvania or Maryland, and it just hangs around into Sunday before it finally pulls away later Sunday and Monday. So I mean, this to me implies that we could have weather problems beginning as early as Thursday of next week and lasting into Sunday. And then you should salvage Monday, which is Memorial Day. And then after that, the flow, it gets, pretty, you know, no, nothing special about it as we move past Memorial Day. So we'll probably just dry out and have seasonal temperatures. But look at the surface with this that goes with it. Because you know what? If this verifies literally as it is shown, it's not going to be pretty. Let's put it that way. But let's back it up. We're going to back it up to tonight, and of course, and tomorrow. So these showers die out, only to fire up again tomorrow. You can see the deep low in the Dakotas into Minnesota spinning around, and there's an arm of strong thunderstorms that the European picks up on, clusters of them that move through Wisconsin and Michigan. That what's left of that front pushes comes around on Friday with some showers and thunderstorms. And you also see some big thunderstorms that develop down in southern Missouri into Illinois and Indiana, Kentucky and Tennessee. That's the enhanced risk for Friday. And then we've got the front coming through here. Looks like a midday passage along the coast. So this would sort of imply to me that we get showers and storms in the morning on Saturday, but then we could maybe see a little bit of improvement in the afternoon. And as long as we don't have any instability to deal with, maybe Sunday will just be a breezy, dry, cool day. The thicknesses get pretty low, down to 552, and it stays kind of cool into early next week. But then here comes that next system. Low pressure there in Kansas moves eastward and straight east into Ohio, redevelops in the Carolinas, and you got a low in Chesapeake Bay. Look at that gradient, Joe. This is Thursday night into Friday. It's like screaming east wind. I mean, it'll be absolutely miserable if that's the case. And the European wants to go crazy with rainfall Friday and still hanging around. That low sits over New Jersey all day on Saturday with showery rains lasting into Sunday before it finally pulls out and the whole upper feature pulls out and weather conditions improve on Monday, Memorial Day. So obviously it's early, and certainly the pattern is one where something like this could happen, but we still got a ways to go here before we can place any certitude with this. But I have to tell you, from what I've been looking at, last couple of days and with the upper air the way it's shaping up, it just does not look promising to me at this point. So there's going to have to be some sort of radical change. And meanwhile, as far as the temperature anomalies are concerned, after Sunday, actually, Monday we go below normal. Tuesday, below normal from New England to the Mid Atlantic, west back through the plains. Wednesday, below normal. Thursday, below normal. Friday of next week, a lot below normal. And then Saturday, a lot below normal up and down the entire eastern seaboard. And the same for Sunday. I mean, this is not going to be usually when it's below normal by a large amount this time of year, it's usually with a cutoff. Sometimes it can be with a cold, a chilly high coming down out of Canada. This may be actually a combination of the two. So I would not be shocked if that Thursday night, Friday map verifies, Joe. I think we'll probably be seeing temperatures in the upper 40s and low 50s.
Uh,
Wouldn't
well,
that be wouldn't that be pleasant?
yeah, wouldn't that be fun? That would be, and I feel bad for the people, especially in New Jersey, along the Jersey Shore, especially Ocean County, New Jersey, where I know for many years I used to do the weather on WOBM, and they really count on the big summer holiday weekends to make their money, and that does not look like a kind of a setup where they're going to be making a lot of money because a lot of people will be probably staying away from the shore areas that particular weekend.
Yeah.
Again, there's still time for things to change a little bit, but it's still like 8 9 days down the road. But right now, the first glimpse of what we're looking at doesn't look all that great between the unseasonably chilly air and also the potential for precipitation. Now, you may be wondering what that big orange.
Yeah, what is it? I mean, all that came to mind to me was the cartoon, The Line and the Dot.
Yeah, which actually won an Oscar, I think, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah, it's a great
Uh,
cartoon if you've ever seen it, folks. The Line and the Dot.
you could probably find it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's
But
there.
Birder Lady on the chat board said, Joe R., can you speak about space weather? There were 2 X-class solar flares over the last day and a half. Can you give any aurora viewing tips? Curious minds want to know. Thanks in advance. Well, to answer that question, the 2 big solar flares, they were X flares, which are up on the highest level. They were located here on the extreme western edge of the sun. They're coming on to the sun now. They were behind the sun a few days ago. Now, as the sun rotates, and the sun takes about 25 or 26 days to rotate. So now these 2 spots have now appeared on the western limb of the sun, and as a result, that is where the flare activity is occurring. But unfortunately, if you're hoping for a display of the northern lights, because the subatomic particles that are shot out from these sunspots, from these solar flares, they have to go straight toward the Earth. Well, unfortunately, these 2 spots or these areas of flares are not what are called geo-effective. In order for them to become geo-effective, in order for the subatomic material to move out into space and take a crack at hitting the Earth, and actually it doesn't hit the Earth, but it hits the upper levels of the Earth's atmosphere, the ionosphere, which then sends those particles toward the northern and southern magnetic poles. In order for that to happen, these flares and these spots have to be pretty near the center of the disk of the sun, and they are not near the center of the disk. They have just, again, rotated onto the sun's disk. Now, maybe in about 4, 5, 6 days, when they come more toward the center, if this area is still active with flare activity, then, yes, we will have a chance to see auroral activity. Here is the view of the flare, or one of the flares, erupting from those 2 sunspots. Again, you can see here's the edge of the sun here, and the spots and their solar flare activity now just emerging. This was an X2, a fairly substantial, a fairly prolific flare, but again, all the material is going the wrong way. It's going to miss the Earth for the most part, so no chance of seeing any kind of sunspot no chance of seeing any kind of a flare. Wait a minute, I'm not even showing that. People are wondering, like, what is he showing? Well, I'm not showing you the flare picture. Let me just stop that
By the way,
there.
I just want to say, Birder Lady hit the tip jar tonight, so thank you very much, Birder Lady.
Yes, thank you very much. So here's what I was talking about. Here's the edge of the sun here. The two spots on the normal or white light view of the sun, you can see those as two black spots. But when you're using the special hydrogen alpha filters to bring out the flare, you see the flare at that bright white area. But again, that's at the edge of the sun. And so all of that material is shooting out to one side of the Earth. It's not reaching the Earth. It's not reaching the magnetic poles. But again, if you wait about 4, 5, 6 days, when that active area makes a move toward the middle of the sun's disk, and if there is a fairly large flare, then we would be in line for possibly seeing a significant northern lights display. But for the moment, that is not in the cards. And I'll tell you what, Joe, the way things are looking on the overall maps, the way things are looking, if there was a big flare heading toward the Earth with material that could set off an aurora, just our luck. We'd probably not see it because the weather pattern, as we noted, over the next 6 to 10 or 8 to 14 days, looks like it's going to be a lot cloudier than sunnier and fair and clear. So that would just be our luck if we missed out on a Northern Lights display because the weather would not cooperate. But anyway, for Burger Lady, I brought that up, and that gives you an idea of what's going on. And thank you again for hitting the tip jar, Burger Lady.
Okay, let's do some Briller Jeopardy, and we're on that number of days of thunderstorms for the following cities, like we had yesterday. So today's first city, Joe, is Detroit.
Detroit, I will say 22.
22 is a fair number. It is a good number. It is a high number. And
Okay.
Michael McGuire and Maggie P on the nose at 17.
Ring a ding
17. Next is Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford. Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh, I will say 19.
Now, I'm just going to refresh in your memory from yesterday where Boston had 12. Okay, just putting it out there. Michael McGuire, you're almost there with 13. And I'm trying to see if anybody's got it. Vincent Croce, you're almost there at 11, which means, Joe, no, Frank Scalia, there you go. Chuck Cardillo and Brady G and Mike Waterhouse Bonsai. Now everybody else knows it's 12. 12 for Hartford.
An even dozen.
Yes. Houston, Texas.
What did we have yesterday for Dallas? Did we do Dallas yesterday? I think
We
we
did,
did.
and what did I say for Dallas? What did I say? 20, 25, 26? I forget. I know I was really close.
I'm trying to remember.
Houston,
Actually,
Texas.
actually, you know what I could do? I just look back on yesterday's
Well, you don't have to because Michael McGuire got it again. Well, he's on a
20,
hot streak
29,
today.
29 for Dallas yesterday. Yes.
Right. Well, Michael McGuire's got the Houston number today, 28. 28. And Maggie P also 28.
Michael McGuire at 28.
Yes, I just said that.
Oh,
Jacksonville. Jacksonville, Florida.
I'm going to say 24.
Oh boy, that is way too low. Not just too low, way too low.
Oh,
And
okay.
so far, everybody on the chat board is way too low. Vincent Croce, you're not way too low, but you are low. Oh, Christina Pedia just missing it with 40. She says 42. Very close. Very, very close.
Same thing with Vincent Croce, 42.
Yes. And Mr. Bonsai at 42. And Frank Scalera on the other side with 40. 40. So we know what the answer is, right, Joe?
41.
Bingo. And finally tonight, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, I'm going to say 15.
And you can ring the bell for yourself. 15 it
Thank
is.
you. Oh,
Boy, that made up for the Jacksonville miss.
I'm not sure.
That took you halfway up the mountain with the yodeler.
Yeah.
Yodeler. By the way, do you know that on speaking of which, direct on my direct TV, it's channel, I don't know, like 4,000 something, is 24 hours of The Price is Right, and they go back. There's like 25,000 episodes of
Oh
The
my
Price
God.
is Right. Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's been on since the early 70s. It's a 5 day a week show, so you're talking 250 shows a year for, I don't know, what is it now? 40 plus years, 50 years?
50 years, I think.
Yeah. I mean, so
50.
there's
I
a
think it's
ton of
53.
episodes, and that's all they show all day long. The old Bob Barker. The showcases were like $3,000 or $4,000 in the early 70s.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see the syndicated versions with Dennis James or
Well, they might even have those too, but it's Price is Right all day long.
yeah, Tom Kennedy. Believe it or not, at one time was a host of The Price is Right. This was the nighttime version.
Yes. Oh, and Wink Martindale passed away recently.
Yes,
Yeah. Are they any of those guys left? Are they all gone?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember who was the host of Treasure Hunt.
I don't remember. I remember the show. I just don't remember who hosted it.
Yeah,
But I think
I
they're
know.
probably all those guys. Wink Martindale, Bob Barker. I mean, Dennis James has passed away, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Bill
Art
Cullen
Fleming.
by the '90s.
Is Hugh Downs still around?
I'm not sure. Like I said, like you said, Joe, a lot of them had been in there for a long time, and perhaps very few, if any, are still
Harold
around.
Olson says that Bob Eubanks is still with us.
Oh, okay. From the Newlywed Game.
Yes, exactly. All right. Anyway, I guess we can end it there. Very funny, Frank Scalera. You're not that far off either. All right. So we'll be tomorrow night at 7:35 p.m. It'll be our last show of the week. So be sure to tune in ahead of the weekend. So we'll see you tomorrow. Say goodnight, Joe.
Good night, Joe.